Guys, hello again. Welcome to another showcase here. I am delighted to have Terry and Rachel Lightfoot here today. How are you both?
We're very great, good, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
From the wonderful TouchRight software as well. And we were just saying before, not only are you a husband and wife team, but proud Yorkshire business as well.
So we absolutely are. Yeah.
You're going to give me a tough time today. You're going to give me a tough time, aren't you?
We'll do our best.
I don't know if now is the time to say that I'm on the wrong side of the of the Pennines over in Manchester.
Yeah.
So this suddenly gets a little bit more feisty, doesn't it?
It can do. Yeah, we'll keep those arguments for another day.
Yeah, we've only got 45 minutes, so let's keep the white roses stuff to itself. Guys, the title today is Property Reports Made Easy. Work smarter, not harder. That's obviously music to my ears, given where I come from here. But before we go into a bit of detail there, I mean, obviously, your backgrounds, husband and wife team. How did you fall into this essentially?
Well, I suppose we've been landlords for years and years now, and but also historically we've worked in the sort of tech space in this corporate world. When we lived down south, so we had that. I went off and did a bit of traveling, had a sort of work opportunity up here in York, and came up and one dived into that, and we set up a property services business at the time, obviously with the tenant deposit scheme coming into place. So next thing we know, we ended up with a sort of small team of clerks and people running around doing inventories and routine inspections and check-ins, check-outs, all that good stuff for loads of agents in York and Yorkshire area and landlords. So, we're always looking for a solution for our own business, I suppose, at the time. There's some early stages of tech about, but it's a bit sort of clunky and, but when you break down the process of what you actually do and the time spent, what can technology do? Where can you save on paper? How can the efficiencies be? So it was a combination of looking at other things and also thinking, right, perhaps now may be a good time to do what we would like to do. And how, like most businesses, out you sketch your bit of paper on the kitchen worktop, don't you? Yeah. And right, how hard could this be? And
well, don't we call that the business plan years later?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we do, there was a lot more back in sort of 2012. A lot more businesses and things were more subscription based. You sort of knew that would be the model. Apps were a bit more, the app stores were a bit more on the people's eye. So we knew that technology was going to be around obviously with Apple and Android. So and then out your pop. So I think during 2012 we were sort of sold that property services business. We felt we'd done far too many reports and had a sort of small team running ragged around this sort of Yorkshire area. So it was a combination of getting that off the ground while we sort of sold the other business, and then still landlords, I suppose, and receiving sort of services from agents on those properties. It give us a good sort of feel for what was being offered, what wasn't being done. We got to know some of the agents really well in York, at looking at their processes and how what they were doing for reporting. So 2013 along popped out sort of TouchRight, I suppose. We sort of launched at the Arla show, as you do, as a bit of a stake in the ground.
Don't start mentioning actual events, because I get all teary-eyed, because I do love a good conference.
Yeah, I know, missing the events and being do miss that, because you do good time to catch up with your customers face to face, because as you know, with an online business you can just be behind a click, can't you, really? So
they could just be nicknames behind but can't they? But what I love about this, guys, is that this is one of those great companies where you've experienced the problem, the issue, and you've come up with a solution yourself, haven't you? That for me always. There's loads of great businesses out there that start off from, techies envisaging some sort of magical thing in an ivory tower, and usually it takes quite a few years before that to start to match the reality. The thing I love about yours, almost from day one, I'm guessing you would have been solving real issues, won't you?
Mm-hmm. I think, yeah, I suppose, we have definitely walked the walk, and that's helped us, with customers. It helps us with our training. It helps us speak to customers on a day-to-day basis, and obviously help them from a support point of view, but also, giving advice along the way as well. So, yeah, and we do with, customer support being one of our kind of key sort of drivers, really. It's just helped us in that whole sort of support journey, because we can put ourselves in the customer's shoes at the end of the day. So, yeah.
That's great. And so talk us through the main services that you have now at the moment.
Yeah, so we've got the usual sort of dashboard that most people have nowadays, and mobile apps. So our apps work on both the iOS and the Android platform. And with the apps, I think from day one, when we came to market, a lot of software was in this space was concentrating on the inventory, and there's so much detail that goes with a good inventory, and is it right, is it wrong, and the versions of, and so forth. So we came to market initially with a routine inspection, because again, with agents that we're working with, that was their problem point, getting around the amount of admin they were doing. We're doing routine inspections, coming back to the office, trying to find time to type stuff up, uploading photos, resizing, formatting. So, and it's such a valuable report with longer tenancies now. And agents really appreciate a good, landlords really appreciate a good report as well, part of the management fee. So concentrating on that as the initial report, but also just adding that sense of customization. What was around was very well, here's an inspection, just use this. So from day one we wanted to introduce that customization. So whether people had these very deep intensive sort of Excel, Word docs, spreadsheets, all sorts sort of came our way, so we could digitally transform them into sort of templates that they half recognized, because it was what they were familiar with. So that was a journey of producing those routine inspections, which obviously add value to those management fees, and all the good stuff where you can click on any of the photos in the report and enlarge to full size. So that's trying to save on paper, which is key. So to us at the headline, it's all about the admin. What can we help with the admin? How can we save paper, while still pushing out a smart looking report that adds some value to the fees, and then as we've moved the software on, then came all the inventories, check-ins, check-outs, maintenance, Legionella, HHSRS. We've got all sorts of other sectors using the software now, and the build to rent and block reports, inspections, and got councils doing site surveys, asset managers doing assets on commercial properties. So it's a real...
I'm amazed you've got time for me, to be honest with you.
Wow, yeah, we
actually,
yeah. So it's as you've sort of evolved these templates, and some of the templates that we're building for people, I think we don't go a day without doing a template for someone. It just shows that. And then I suppose all the secondary features that come with that, report linking, see what you said last time, none of this going to a filing cabinet and taking it with you, opening the platform, you can share it with your contractors. We appreciate some agents, 1 minute they're outsourcing it, then they bring it in-house, and then they outsource it again, have a bad experience, bring it in-house, and we can share it with your contractor. We appreciate you can't always just give a bit of software to someone to go fill in and produce a good report. The devil's in the detail. It's just a tool in your toolbox, really. So I suppose we're just sort of mindful of that.
And how do you cope? I mean, templating, obviously my old world was CRM software, and I remember just what a horrific challenge templating was. Somebody, can I just have it, a little bit different, and all the rest of it. How do you rise to that challenge? Have you managed to create a very customizable system then that allows that templating to be edited and amended?
Yeah, exactly. So we have a sort of a template builder in the system, essentially. So every account, when anybody sets up on trial, has access to about 35 off-the-shelf templates that we've put together for various different types of reports. So they're available for anybody to use as they are. They're just sort of quick start, schedule an appointment, select that template, and off I go to do my report. All of those reports can also be copied and duplicated, and then either the customer or ourselves can edit that template to, add stuff in, take stuff out, amend and tweak the questions depending on what they need. Or a template can be set up from scratch, which again, either the customer can do or we can do. I mean, one of the key bits of our service is the fact that we do offer that level of detail of helping out with customizing templates, and that's all included in our fee that we charge. So there's no extra cost for building those templates, and they can be edited and tweaked at any point. But yeah, we have that comprehensive builder with lots of different question types in it, text boxes, multiple choice, drop downs, inventory tables, terms and conditions, you name it. We've sort of got it covered, really.
Nice, yes. And you mentioned before you got the app. Does the app, is it fully functional in terms of what can you do everything on the app that you could do on the desktop version, or?
Yeah, you can use, as we did a big update to the app a couple of years ago, and there's more, while the software works offline, and a lot of agents might choose a Wi-Fi only tablet and share that in the office. That's not a problem because it works offline. What we have, is the rise of the smartphone, we call it. I suppose the bigger screens, aren't they? Everyone seems to have one in their bag or in their pocket. So it made sense to rewrite the app for a better user experience on the app, which means obviously you're on a connected device. So then all of a sudden you can have properties and schedule appointments and stuff. So some of the assessors that use it and just use the software for Legionella reports, they barely touch the dashboard in a sense. And we've certainly got some larger clients where they might even have an office admin that just works on the dashboard, and the field-based team, they might be based in London and have blocks in Manchester, Leeds and big cities. So some of the field-based guys don't even know the dashboard exists. They just work off
they just use what they need to. They just use whatever,
and just sync and send and move the report to wherever it needs to be, and then the admin person will wrap it up technically and send it on to the client. So it can be used across that way. I mean, that's then introduced us to, we've got a unique feature in the software, a bit of lone worker protection, again on the sort of customization sort of theme that we've got of the templates. You customize a red and amber alert. So some clients quite like that, very discreetly. Press the button within the app, and whichever one amber, whichever alert you send back, it could simply be I've just left the property, or it could simply be I'm about to start, or the amber or the red one could be the code red. So we appreciate a lot of agents you chat to about that. They might have a phone the office and ask for a file from the large red folder. I don't know what happens then, but it's just something comes in. But it makes sense if you've got the device on you. You can have little things like that. I think moving on, I mean, we've also been really keen to have things a bit more integrated and connected. I think we've seen this in our previous lives within that sort of corporate world, working for the Microsofts and so forth. There's a lot of things were going on with things being more connected. Years and years ago, we were quite surprised in this space how CRMs have been very protective of the data and not allowing people to connect and things. So the being able to move things around is just great. So initially first connection was with Fixflow many years ago. So in short, that person doing the inspection can tag any issues and repairs in the app or back in the dashboard, and they fall straight into a Fixflow account. So it also falls into an issues area in TouchRight. So if you're not using Fixflow, you can wrap those up and send them out to your contractors and do things like that. So things like that. And then the back office CRMs that we integrate with, Quaint, Agent OS, an old integration with Cube SLM, SME Professional. We've just gone live with a Repit one as well as part of the app marketplace. So we're live in that, and and we've got a couple more that we're sort of pending as well. So saves the double of appointment setting of appointments, duplication of property data. But the nice thing is when you finish a report, it then sends a report link or a report back to that CRM. So it just saves the admin. And then we've had some really good feedback from customers over the years that really take on those, even if it's just the CRM and the Fixflow, and just to how the data can be done, and you get those efficiencies across that. And we also integrate with Signable, the e-signature platform as well, so you can push reports out for signature if you don't want to use our remote comments feature, which is a remote sort of digi-sign anyway. So we've got those secondary features in the software that can be used.
You've very much got a sort of open view about integrating. You obviously see the benefits of that. Are those hard-coded integrations? Do you have an open API that other third parties can use as well?
So we've got a fully open API that's publicly available if anybody wants to connect with us, and obviously we then use other third-party APIs with Acquaint, Agent OS, and all of those other providers to sort of do the technical connection. And we're always improving those integrations as well. So we've kind of brought out our version 1 of Repit, which came out beginning of this week, really. So that's now live, but we will have other versions coming, because obviously there's so much you can do with Repit. There's so many endpoints, you can go crazy with it and connect in so many different ways, which is fantastic. How
has been the experience? Has it been good? It certainly looked incredibly powerful.
It has been good, and I would say the way that the Repit integration has been put together is unlike any other integration that we've done. The way that the marketplace has been designed and configured, and it's a completely open platform system. So all of the different suppliers and developers that have worked on it are constantly giving Repit feedback on their own system. So it kind of is very much a community development project, which is slightly different from some of the other integrations that we worked on. So it's worked really nicely, and we've had lots of interaction with their development team. So it's been a really positive experience.
Well, you've got a lovely client base to go after there as well, haven't you, with Repit? They've got a nice.
We hope so. Yeah.
You waving that integration piece is there. You managed to get integration. That's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of why we see integration as being important, because it's that we try and put ourselves in the customer's shoes. Why do they've got use loads of different systems, loads of different logins and all the rest of it, and actually at the end of the day a lot of these systems are using property addresses, tenant and landlord information and appointment data. So why do you have to put that same information into all of these different locations? Do it once and then share it as much as possible, and it's saving time straight away.
Single sign-on integration. It's not like you'd go back to a phone now, much as we might remember the old Nokia batteries with much joy. But the idea, you wouldn't go back to something that didn't have apps integrating now, would you? And that's what's really nice, is it is setting the standard now for some of the more forward-thinking CRMs are actually realizing, look, this is one of the agents' biggest criticisms. They're frustrated is they know they're wasting time and time again, even if it is just a process of rekeying landlord data, property data. It's something they shouldn't be doing. Good. And in terms of obviously great, obviously go after the Repit client base there. And in terms of, from your point of view, how many agents do you work with at the moment?
Yeah, we've got sort of hundreds based around the UK, from sort of small little agents to large independents, multi-branch, a lot of the franchise agents, in the networks of the Belvoirs and Martin and Co's and so forth, and Northwoods and and so it's a real
right
mix,
across the country,
right
as
from
well.
Sort of top Aberdeen down to John O'Groats almost, and right across the southeast. And a real mixture. It's and as I say, a few little bits going on in other sectors as well, and quite a few clerks use the software and like. So real mixture really.
And do you have is there a certain profile of agent that sort of worked better with your software, or is even geographically it's across the board? Is it just as good with single office agents as it is with corporates, or?
It works. Try and keep it just to simplify stuff at that sort of headline, what the software does, and likewise of how we bring someone on. Otherwise, you end up with too many versions, and people need to do it this way and that way. So it's all quite uniformed in that sense, to make it easy for us to bring someone on and the customer to bring themselves on as well. Some people have come on to trial and just simply can be hard to get hold of on the phone. You know, they don't want any help, and they just, next thing they know, they're signed up and paying. And you think, well, I haven't even had a conversation with them yet, you know, but they're just keen to use it. And then it might be that you've had quite a lot of referrals actually over the years where PMs have moved on to other jobs or changed roles and stuff and taken our software with us. So that's been good. But it just, I think with most things, the best experience is just giving the time to learn this stuff, you know, because the software is quite comprehensive now. Yes, you can come on and just choose a template and go out and do things, but it's, if you want to really know some of the other secondary features and things, and just give us some time to train you properly. If you don't want to watch our videos or some of our sort of supporting information, then, you know, that's all it takes, and then you get a far better experience, I think.
And what does onboarding look like for most agents? What support do you give them?
Yeah, well, from signing up, you know, we reach out to them straight away. Well, we have an onboard tour built into our platform that can take them through some basic stuff to complete a report in the office or on the home address, and then you know, and then we go from there, usually asking about, you know, customization with those templates. I mean, we want to add some extra users or integrations, you know, and just get everything set up. So again, we work at whatever pace, you know, people want to work at. We're not, you know, too hard and fast with things. You appreciate everyone's got a million things going on. So, you know,
we do quite a lot of obviously with things as they are at the moment, but we've always did a lot of online training webinars anyway. So, you know, often the first thing is to get that initial sort of webinar in, because it just helps take people through, even just at a very high level, just, you know, this is how the system works, this is the dashboard, these are gaps, this is how everything connects together and how a report sort of flows through the system. So those online webinars work really well, but we offer those you know, throughout the whole process anyway. So once somebody comes on board with us, you know, we've got instant online chat available. We're available on the phone, on email, and also through the webinars. So, you know, if some of our customers have new starters joining, we'll offer them a free training webinar for those new starters to get them up to speed, because half the battle at the moment, particularly for agents where they've got some people in the office and some people at home, is knowledge transfer, like it is for all of us when we're spread out across different locations. So actually being able to offer that training, because they can't necessarily do it face to face, is a really, you know, an easy way to get them up to speed, you know, without having to have a colleague sort of show them how to use it.
That knowledge transfers can be a real danger for suppliers, can't it? Because actually, you know, go and learn it from Dolly in the corner or whatever else there. That it almost works the first couple of times, doesn't it? But then it actually becomes Chinese whispers.
It dilutes,
it can do.
You really start to see that people over a period of time start to really be able to see just how much the software can do. And it's why I know, talking to suppliers, their frustration, it's their frustration not as anything, you know, our clients only use 50% of the software. So that's a really, really key element. I'm pleased to see you do that, thinking about those new onboarders, because ultimately, you know, throwing a user manual that's 300 pages thick or learning from Dolly are just not the ways that actually, you know, it works in this day and age, is it, realistically?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, you know, we've got some customers that have been with us since we started. You know, we've had customers for a long time, and if they've kept the same, you know, as we've evolved the software and adapted the software over years, we've added new features to it. Obviously, people that have been using it for a long time, it's making sure that they're aware of what those new features are, because it, like anything, and we're all the same, you get used to a way of doing things and you don't necessarily know what other features can be used within the software. So again, that's all part of offering this training out to people. Even if you've got an existing team, let's just do a refresh with them to just remind them what else is in the system that they can use.
Well, you've got one of those, like I used to have the rebit as well. You've got that challenge where people don't realise it's broken, you know, so that we were talking before how you still can't believe how many people use manual processes and everything else. And literally the frustration you feel when somebody finally sees what, I'm sure it's the same with you, they see TouchRight and they go, how could we ever have done without this? And she's like, well, if you'd answered my calls 2-3 years ago, potentially potentially the case. Look, we've got a really good, I won't ruin it because we have got a really good offer at the end that actually cuts right through that anyway, haven't we? Gives you the opportunity to actually get in there and feel it. But it is a real challenge because obviously we know how time poor agents are. They are beset on all sides by different suppliers. But this is one of those areas where if you just give it a go, you're going to see the benefits, aren't you, quite quickly?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would
We've
have
had
been
a few
really.
cases where some of the
Sorry,
we've had some of the business owners really
Oh.
try.
We got the delay.
I'm going to say we've had a few cases where some of the business owners are really, driven it home to their property. We're using this system. It's good. It does what it needs to do. Just adopt the change. Because it's too easy to sometimes give someone to do and let them get on with it, isn't it? You've got to, if the business owner sees that, especially where things are a bit more connected, it's for the benefit of keeping on top of stuff and making sure people are doing what they need to do. Obviously with COVID coming along, that threw a massive spanner in the works in it. So we introduced open the software up in another way that you can do stuff over the phone or with Zoom or FaceTime. That's one method of report. And then self-service reporting as well. So thousands of self-service reports have been done since lockdown, absolutely thousands and thousands. So some of the bigger agents out there really get right. We're going to adopt this going forward. We can do a bit of self-service, a bit on site at a property, and because you can set mandatory questions and do things like that. You never know what you're going to get when a tenant fills a form in, but hey, if you're selling it to them for the reasons of social distancing and isolation and to keep on track of repairs and maintenance and all that good stuff, then there's good reason that someone will go to the efforts of filling something in. So it's another way of using the software, I suppose.
And how does the reporting help agents then at a top level? What are the main benefits they get from your reporting suite?
I think two things. One is the efficiencies with the staff and the admin side of it, and again from us doing that ourselves many years ago, that's key with this type of software. And we've had agents in the past where we did 5 inspections in a day. It would take me a week to try and find time to type them up, download the photos and resize, where they can then, people say, well, I do it on TouchRight now, I do 10 or 15 in a day. So and they'll be with the landlords by 6 o'clock. So that's the benefits there in that sense. But yes, we can always touch on the paper, the amount of paper that's used in an industry. When you got to walk into an agency, you see all the amount of paper that's around. It's a lot better than it ever used to be. Hopefully.
You want to avoid Greta getting to you, don't you? Because she's not.
And then we're also conscious of the reports being good for dispute services as well. Because you've got this comparison. If you did an inventory and a check-in, check-out type thing, you've got the comparison reporting. It even produces a changes report. If you found 10 things at the end of a checkout. Likewise, use a comparison when you're doing routine inspections. What did I see last time? Did the fence get fixed? Did that dog bowl we asked to get removed from the kitchen gone? So you can see what you said last time, all that good stuff. So that helps with disputes with that sort of chain of reports which can potentially be needed, and not forgetting that the reports look smart and professional, which just adds to the management fees. Really, long gone the days. So I've been landlord ourselves for many years, and you get the token report, or pop round to your property today, everything's fine, or well, is that all I get for my my fees? So
it's an often overlooked point, isn't it? You mentioned there that do you get that feedback then from your clients, the agency clients, that the landlords do value this as well?
Yeah, we do.
Just had one this morning, funny enough. A big agent that's up and running with it, and throwing another 10-12 users at the platform. It's feedback, because they weren't doing things in a consistent way, already getting good feedback from the landlords. They just like the reports, knowing that they can click on the photos and they enlarge. Simple little things, really.
We've also had a customer sort of give us some feedback in the past where, you know, because of the quality of the report, and, you know, when they're about to try and get a new instruction from a landlord, actually, if they can show them an example report and say to the landlord, actually, if you start using our services, we can produce reports that look like this, and we'll send you them on a quarterly, 6 monthly, whatever their inspection, you know, timeline is, and it actually helps them win business because the quality of the report, and the landlord can see, actually, yeah, this agent is a good one. They do things properly, and they're obviously very, you know, efficient and diligent, and all of those things. So it's helped in that respect as well.
You're in a very special position there if you can help them win business as well. That's absolutely fantastic. It is echoed here, I've got to say, as you've got, look, it's fantastic. Obviously, you always encourage all of our people to have a look at the landing pages, and TouchRight 5-star rated by all of their clients there. We've got one here from Sally Eastbourne Lettings. We're extremely happy with TouchRight and wish we had found it sooner. Actually, that's what we were just talking about, wasn't it? It saves considerable man hours, freeing up staff for other things. They are very helpful and have created several bespoke templates for us. They quickly reacted to the lockdown, ensuring we could still offer the same level of service to our clients. So that's, you know, that's fantastic, isn't it, to get that level of kind of feedback from people. Thank you, Sally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of other companies out there making lots of noise and stuff. We're just quietly getting on with it, really. We're a bootstrap company. We haven't got, you know, sat on big stashes of cash to do massive marketing campaigns to rule the world. So we just...
You haven't gone for a second funding raise then of like 20 million quid? Just
about £50 under
maybe next week.
£50 under the settee, you know.
Seems fashionable, doesn't it? Oh, we'll go with another funding raise. And what's the feedback from the agents themselves then? I mean, we've seen one there. In general, what's the over? How would you like to think that they would describe TouchRight?
Just
hopefully that we look after them. You know, that we kind of, you know, we're big on sort of supporting them and answering any queries, you know, that they've got. You know, we are, as I've said before, with the customer service thing, you know, because we have walked the walk, we can kind of put ourselves in their shoes and see things from their perspective. You know, whether it's a technical query that somebody might have, you know, we're always really quick to respond. We don't like to say, oh, we'll get back to you in 48 hours. No, we'll get back to you in the next few hours, because if it's something that's causing you pain, then you want it fixed, you know, or dealt with straight away. So yeah, we'd like to think that they would rate us highly on that.
It's a good old-fashioned customer service. You can't whack it. Yeah, great. And talk to us about the pricing for the product. Then, what's are there different options? How is it charged to the agent?
Yeah, so generally, a lot of the agents that are going back to the same property and doing regular routine inspections. Next thing you know, you're adding inventories or check-ins, check-out, maintenance reports, lead to know, any of these other reports at the same address. So the all-inclusive plan. So much like a phone contract, really, where you've got the all-inclusive, whether you chat on your phone 10 minutes 1 month or an hour the next, you know, it's that sort of fee based on the number of properties you add into the system. So, and you can add as you go as well. So you can just keep sort of upgrading as you add more properties. And likewise, if you sold properties or a landlord selling, or you sold a portion of your business, then you can downgrade as well. So you can be quite flexible with that. So that all-inclusive plan is as it says on the tin, in that sense, you know, there's no extra fees on top of whatever you do, or users or branches and things. And then we have a monthly light plan that's you know, £10 a month, includes 4 reports, and every other report is £2.50. So again, gives you all the features. So that's often used as you know, those smaller agents who maybe, you know, 30, 40 properties, maybe a bit more before they move on to all-inclusive. And then, you know, we can have per report. Some people do like per report. We know it's different in certain parts of the country. Certain agents have a lot more let only, so they can use the software, pay a nominal fee for a per report and charge it back to the landlord, really, you know, so you can be sort of making money from the platform if you're charging reports back to the landlord. So yeah, it's used across those 3 ways, seems to cover most bases.
And it's very competitively priced then, from what you're saying.
Well, yeah, you know, we don't want to race to the bottom. There's a lot of tech in there you've got available. You've got a lot of technology, and we've had this feedback from other sectors. You know that we give a lot of tech for the value. So, you know, we're not going to be drawn into a massive race to the bottom on just devaluing the technology, really, because it does what it needs to do. There's value in it, and it works, and we support the product well as well.
Look, the key is that you find that price point and the expectation point right, though, and that's why you end up with the 5-star reviews, isn't it? If you can deliver on that. Just another one we've got here. We've got here from Mike Boardman. He just said, "Best." I do like this because he's gone all caps lock, so he was clearly excited. It's software you can find. I originally started working with TouchRight around 4, maybe 5 years ago in my previous employment, and I have always found the software fantastic. It's easy to understand the customer service on the phone if you have an issue. It's epic. When I joined UK Rooms for Rent in 2019, I begged and begged them to start using TouchRight, and we have finally started. Highly recommend these guys without any doubt. Those ones, they're just lovely to hear, aren't they?
I love the word epic.
Epic, yeah. Get that into your next marketing campaign. It goes back to, actually, you didn't even know I was going to put that up. That reiterates what you were saying before, where you've got that loyalty. It really shows you've got a product to be proud of, doesn't it? Where they go into somewhere else and say, no, I'm not doing my job without this particular tool helping me out.
Yeah, no, it's we feel quite humbled getting messages like that, to be completely honest, because it does, you know, it means a lot, and that we put a lot into the company, and obviously it's really nice to have that sort of recognition back from customers. So
anyone else want to do it, please go to the TouchRight page. It's very easy. We've just changed it. Actually, it's very easy to leave a review, and if you're feeling got a face for video, you can even leave video reviews. So we're very excited. We've got that ability to do that. So please support you both, obviously, Terry and Rachel, in doing so. And you mentioned their integration. Can we just reiterate there? So in terms of, obviously, you've got the CRMs, you mentioned some of the ones coming on board. Fixed Flow. Any other integrations in the industry you're looking at the moment, or that you haven't mentioned?
It's more again, you know, just to recap, so we've got Acquaint, Agent OS, an old Cube SLM, SME Professional, Fixed Flow Signable, and the new one is Reapit. Then yes, we've got some more that we're looking at, more CRM stuff. You know, we do get requests from customers to say, "Oh, could you connect to this one and that one?" And yeah, it's why you think it's easy and quick to do, it isn't. So
I tell you what, people never realise. They think, you know, agents do get quite critical, but they don't realise there is a huge overhead in terms of support as well. Clearly, you know, you've got to do that integration right, because any changes that you make in evolving the software, or indeed that Reapit do, can have connotations and throw out existing usage. So it does take companies working closely together and continuing to dedicate resource to make these integrations work in the way you want them to.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, that also comes from having a sort of an understanding of each other's platforms. And I think, you know, there's areas for improvement there with some of these sort of the integration partners, but actually at the end of the day, it's about putting yourself in the customer shoes and kind of think, okay, well, how is the customer using TouchRight? How are they using another platform, and how should they connect? Because it's taking it a step down from the technical stuff, i.e. connecting this bit with this bit and the information shares, but it's from the user's point of view. When they're logged into the system, how easy is it to use? Does the data flow easily from A to B? It's all of those bits that I think where the integrations can evolve when we sort of start to have a deeper understanding of each other's systems, really.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Sorry, I always have to apologise, because every time I post one of these, it does look like we decapitate each, which is yeah. It's not. I should advise people to get cushions or something like that. And you are dear partners, so we don't want to decapitate you day one, do we? That wouldn't be especially, as I alluded to earlier, you have been really, really kind, and you've thrown out a great deal here for our Kerfuffle members. Again, encourage everybody just to go to the landing page for TouchRight. You can see full information there, and just click on the I'm interested button, or of course get in touch with TouchRight directly and just obviously confirm your Kerfuffle members. Guys, do you want to just give? It's not even one deal, is it? You've given a couple of different aspects in here for it.
Yeah, it's simply, extension of the trial, which again, if you get yourself sorted quite quickly, you've got, a bit of free usage there. And then, whereas most people opt for regular monthly subscriptions, if you want to take out an annual plan, then we can discount that further, with a 10% discount. So some people are used to doing annual plans with other suppliers, so we can do that and then throw in a discount as well. So yeah, it's you can get some good free usage there and save some fees.
Well, if you want to, so that we can get you on here with your caps lock like Mike earlier, encouraging you. You've got a period here. We are again just here, 60-day trial that pretty much sees you through pretty much to the end of the year. Great time to be able to look at this, understand exactly what TouchRight can do for you, and then if you do like what you see, why would you not take them up on the annual plan? And you sign up for that a little bit longer, but of course, the quid pro quo is you get the 10% off. So that's great to see. Guys, that's really, really, really good. Thank you for taking the time out. It's been great to catch up with you. It'd be lovely to have I think we're going to have to get Mike on. I get the impression he's a bit of an enthusiast. It'd be nice to talk to a few of your clients on a panel show in the coming months and hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, we'll definitely speak to Mike and get him involved.
Yeah. If we can stop him talking, I guess that he strikes me as you might want to go on a little bit.
Good.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. That's all right, no problem. That's been great. Thank you so much, Simon.
Great, Simon.
You've been very gentle to a Mancunian, so thank you for that as well. Best of luck with it, guys, and thank you for that offer. We'll obviously share that out with all of our teams.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
Bye-bye.